Coming up on Metro Scene, we talk to the artistic director of Step Afrika about their exciting, entertaining performance over at Arena Stage. So stay with us, we'll be right back. Hey everybody, welcome to Metro Scene. I'm Marvin Jackson. Today we talk to Mfon Akpan, and she's the artistic director at Step Afrika for this great performance that I just saw. It's The Migration, which is playing at Arena Stage. And welcome to the show, Mfon.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Talk about this performance that's going on. It's going to be going on until July 14th. And if you haven't seen it, you have to see it. It is just great. It has music, it has dance, it has stepping, and it has history. And talk about the idea behind this performance.
So our performance really chronicles the history, which is American history, of the migration, the Great Migration of African Americans from the deep rural South to headed north and west to find better opportunities for themselves and their families. This country has a rich history when it comes to the contributions of African Americans, especially when it comes to the arts and culture. And so we've been able to take basically the works of Jacob Lawrence, who chronicled this through his migration series, and we were able to bring those paintings to life on a stage. So we take what we do best, which is stepping, along with other art forms such as jazz, the Negro spiritual, tap dance, the South African gumboot dance, and we're able to tell these stories on a stage. So it's a great immersive experience, and if you get an opportunity, which I think you will have, you should come out and see it in person. My words can be very descriptive, but to actually experience it in the theater at Arena Stage is on another level. So yeah, that's
and you're right. I mean, you explained it very well, but just being there was pretty awesome. Everybody was kind of you know, bobbing their heads and patting their feet, and even at the end we got involved with the folks on stage, so that was pretty cool too. You said that was a pretty good performance, huh?
Oh no, it was a stellar performance. It capped off the end of our first week at Arena Stage. And when you come to a Step Afrika performance, you're not just watching the performance, you become a part of the performance. That's what we encourage. So there's that fourth wall that gets broken pretty quickly. And so you really become that extra company member along with us. Without our audiences, I mean, we would just have an empty arena or an empty theater. And with having you all there, it really elevates the show to another level, because it's not just a show, it's, like you said, an experience.
Yeah, and with the artwork up on in the back where you can see the artwork that Jacob Lawrence did, chronicling the migration of African Americans here in America. I saw so much that I could relate to. I mean, and there was a lot about, something I really loved is I'm a big baseball fan. So you had the Negro League player in there, and I just
Absolutely.
that was just amazing. That guy was awesome too, who was playing.
Okay, so his name is Paul
He
Warner.
must be one of your stars. But
Well, they're
what I
all,
loved also was the railroad guy. I believe he was a porter or conductor.
yes, absolutely.
Um, Both my grandfathers worked in the railroad, so,
Wow.
so I know a lot about the railroad. You're learning history and you're going through history, but at the same time, you're having fun, you know?
Yes, because everybody has a migration story. This is the United States of America. So unless you're native to this land, everyone has a migration story. And so when we performed this work, after people have seen it, they come to us with their stories of, oh wow, this really brought back memories because my family's from Mississippi originally and now we're in Chicago, or my family's originally from Georgia and now we've migrated and we settled in New Jersey. Like there are so many similarities to people's stories, and then within the production itself, now that this is the next iteration of it, we're able to take our newer artists who are newer to the work, and they're able to incorporate themselves into the production. So when you mentioned the baseball player, the Negro League, that was actually Pelham, one of our dancers. That was his idea that we were able to incorporate. So it's a collaborative process because that's what stepping is. Stepping started from the historically African American fraternities and sorority system. And so when we look at that, we know that stepping is a community-based experience. And so even when it comes to the company and the work that we do, it's very much a collaborative experience.
Yeah, and I am a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, and I believe you are a member of Delta, right?
That is
Delta Sigma
correct.
Theta. Yeah,
I'm a
and
member of Alpha Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and I
yes.
went to Stony Brook University,
Hmm.
and my degree is in biochemistry and molecular genetics with a minor in dance. So
Okay.
just to the experience with my stepping with my sorority sisters on that yard on that college campus was really enriching, and I'm grateful and I'm glad that I was able to continue it here at Step Afrika, and I've been with the company now for 18 years.
Yeah, and that's interesting that you were a biochemical, biochemistry major or something like that. I
Yeah.
mean, I just think that is just awesome right there because you're very well rounded, right?
Well, yeah, I've always been interested in the arts and sciences. I grew up in New York where I grew up dancing, studied tap, jazz, ballet, hip hop, African, modern, stepped in high school, stepped in college. But I've always been heavy into the sciences. I went to the Bronx High School of Science in New York and then went on to Stony Brook. And I've always been a left brain, right brained kind of person. I've loved experiencing both. And I always say there's an art to science and a science to art. And when it comes to like choreography and figuring things out, just the way my brain works and the way my body works, there's an integration of both the arts and sciences. And so that's how I got my background.
I've heard you talk about the history of stepping, and I saw it actually in that performance. I even saw some things that reminded me of some of the Gullah things because I'm doing some work with the Gullah corridor right now as far as a documentary. So I even saw some of that in you all's
Yeah,
performance. And you have actually spent time in Africa as well
yeah.
as founder of Step Afrika, C. Brian Williams. Explain that and why you guys did that studying over there in Africa.
Okay. So one point of clarification, stepping actually started right here in America. It's an American-born art form. So where there are some historical ties to Africa, the actual art form like jazz and tap actually started in the United States. And it started with the Stono Rebellion in South Carolina. So the Stono Rebellion happened. And as a result, the Negro Act of 1740 was enacted, and that basically outlawed the use of the drum. And so after that happened, African Americans, well, that's really the start of African American culture in the United States. After the Negro Act, basically we took the rhythms of the drum and put it in our bodies and expressed it that way. And that's how you get stepping and tap and pat and juba and some of the other, the ring shout, those art forms. That's how that lineage happened. And some of that is what you saw on the stage. So coming from the Gullah Geechee culture, you were seeing those traditional art forms on the stage. Now taking it back a little bit to Africa, Step Afrika actually did not start out as a dance company, as a traditional dance company. It actually started out as a culture exchange between Americans and South Africans. And the founder of Step Afrika, Brian Williams, he's a graduate of Howard University. He's also a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. He actually went over to live and work in South Africa. And when he was over there, he happened to see an art form called the South African gumboot dance. And when he saw this particular dance, he noticed similarities between this percussive dance form and stepping. And so he inquired about the dance and formed partnerships with members of the Soweto Dance Theater. And then there was an annual festival that happened where there was an exchange of cultures. So South Africans taught us their art forms and we taught them our art forms. So stepping, hip hop, jazz, that's what we brought. And they taught us the South African gumboot dance, the South African Zulu dance. And we just shared in the two cultures. And after that, a couple years after that, it turned into a dance company in the United States because there was a need. There was a need to share the art form amongst people across the United States.
When we got into stepping and people said, well, where did it come from and how did, why is it so important? You kind of have said before, that's kind of like who we are. It's what we do, right? And I guess that's what you're saying about when Brian Williams was over in Africa and he saw that dance in South Africa. It reminded him of stepping here. After that rebellion in South Carolina, they took the drums away and you had to use your body. You had to do the stomps and you had to use, I guess, canes, and you had to use slapping against your body. And explain that a little more to our viewers.
Yeah, so we are a very rhythmic people. We are people from the African diaspora, and rhythm is in our blood. It's in our DNA. It's in the very fabric of our DNA. And, after that rebellion, you have to think people are resilient. We're resilient and we're innovative. And the best way to keep some of that culture, the best way to keep that heritage was to innovate it and change it into a form that we could use without, violating the Negro Act. And so that's where you find, let's say the ring shout, for instance, you saw it on the stage. That's where you had the dancers going in a counterclockwise motion, shuffling their feet on the floor. And you had one person in the middle with what we call a stamping stick, and they're holding the rhythm, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But on top of that bass beat, which you would probably get on a drum, there are these other percussive elements that we can use to help fill in the other sounds and tones that you would get from drums, from like a full set. So now you're adding hands in other rhythms. Now you're adding your feet. Now you're adding your vocals. You're hitting different parts of your body. And all of this is music. All of this is integrated and all of this is innovative. So it's like, yes, they may have taken the drums away, but they could not stop the beat.
Yeah, I love that. When I heard that in the performance, they could not stop the beat. I thought that was so cool.
It's a
Um,
powerful
yeah.
statement
It
of
was very
great,
powerful. It
yeah.
was very powerful. And I just think that everybody should come out to see this. I know I don't think you perform anymore, but
No,
you pretty much have a lot to do with it. So I'm going to just congratulate you on this production.
thank you. And I really must, it's a testament to the work of Brian Williams. Jakari Sherman is the director of the work.
Hmm.
Originally, this work was put up in 2011, and then we brought it back in around, I think it was like 2017, 2018. And now this is the third time because it's an institutional fan favorite. Half of the work that Jacob Lawrence painted is housed at the Phillips Collection right here in DC. The other half is in New York at the MoMA. So if you are able to come to see this production, whether you want to go beforehand or after, I really encourage everyone to go and see that collection in person. The colors and the rhythm of what Jacob Lawrence was actually able to paint out,
Hmm.
what he was able to show us is what we have worked so hard to bring to life, not just with our movement, but also with the set design, also with the costuming, with the music. We have a live saxophone player and flautist, Lionel Lyles. We have live singing, Greg Watkins, Kanisha Williams, and Brianna Jackson. And even one of our dancers is also singing in the production, Ariel Dykes. We have tap dancing. We have the South African gumboot. We have contemporary. Most of all, we have stepping. We have phenomenal drummers. All of these different elements come together in a cohesive manner to help bring those paintings to life. And that's what's truly, truly amazing about this ensemble.
Yeah. And so I'd say thumbs up. I mean, two, three thumbs up. It was just a great performance, and keep doing great things with Step Africa. I know you may have other things coming up, and if you want to talk
Absolutely.
about that now.
Yeah, I mean, so Step Africa, we do a lot. Besides our regular performances, we have our summer camp that's coming up in the first week of August, where we take young people and we teach them and work with them every day so that they have a culminating performance at the end of the week, and they get to know what it is to be an artist and a performer. And then towards the end of the year, we have our annual what we call our show at Arena. Sorry, the words escape me because I have so much going on in my.
Mhm.
But it's our holiday show. It's our magical musical holiday step show, and that's a different vibe, totally different vibe than what we're doing now. But it's interactive. It's fun. We have a live DJ. We have our friends that step from the Polar Kingdom. So we are a company that, we're well versed in many different things. Of course, stepping is at its core, but there are many different shows and different programs that we offer throughout the year. And we are also very excited to be celebrating our 30th anniversary. So, it's just been a whirlwind of symphonic, harmonic
Mhm.
sounds that really is what drives us from day to day.
Yeah. Now, how do you feel when you uh, go to watch the show, and you're standing there and you're watching this performance? What goes through your head?
Well, a lot, a lot. I'm watching the artists. I'm watching their development and their growth every night on the stage. I'm watching them explore the different characters, and I'm watching them grow as artists. So it's been quite satisfying to be able to pass the baton to the next generation and to see what they bring to the work and what they are able to bring to the stage in their performances. We had our interpretation of the work and they have theirs, and to be able to incorporate their ideas to help elevate story is also something that's quite fascinating. So I get immersed in that world as I'm watching these dancers on stage.
All right. Well, they brought excellence, that's for sure. And we're glad to have you on Metro Scene. Thanks for joining us, and just continued success with migration. And then when you come back in December for that Christmas performance at Arena Stage.
Yes, but we're super excited. We're grateful and we're energized to continue the legacy of Step Afrika, especially in this 30th year. And we hope we have 30 more years and then some. So thank you very much for being able to take the time out to come and see us, and tell a friend, bring a friend. That's what we always say. We are running through July 14th. It's a truly special experience, especially here in DC, especially knowing how important DC is as a city when it comes to the African American experience.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us, Mfon, the artistic director of migration in Step Afrika. So we'll be right back in a moment. Don't go away, folks.
Step Afrika!
The coronavirus has affected the African American community in many ways, including a drastic drop in blood donations needed for patients with sickle cell disease. If you're healthy, please make an appointment to donate at redcrossblood.org.
Welcome back, everyone. Marvin Jackson here. I hope you enjoyed our discussion with Mfon Akpan, the artistic director of Step Afrika, as she talked about the migration, the performance that's going on right now at Arena Stage. For more information, you can go to the Step Afrika website, or you can go to arenastage.org for more information about the upcoming shows. It runs until July 14th, so you have plenty of time. So for Metro Scene, I'm Marvin Jackson. We'll see you next time.